so many traffic jams. I'm in Tacoma right now, and I've already been on the road for an hour and 45 minutes. Almost 2 hours, actually. But it's actually felt like 1.5 weeks, you know, because when I first got on the road, it was going okay. It was like maybe 3 days. It felt like 3 days. And then when I hit the first traffic jam, that felt like 6 days. And then I had a little break. It felt like a day, really quickly, like a day and a half. But then when I hit the other one, it was spilling over into the next day, and then felt like 5 days. And now it feels like 6 days again, but there might be a break up here soon. Well, I'll do the math later so you guys know what I'm talking about, but you get the point. I finally made it to Vancouver here, Washington, that is. And just like I thought, it took forever, and I really don't have enough time to do my exploring thing. I wanted to go to this museum that has a bunch of manuscripts in the basement. Apparently it's been going on for 100 years. John told me about it from the upper strata when I was visiting him in Portland. He told me that this museum has a bunch of manuscripts in the basement where people can just drop off the books that they write, and you can check them out and read them. So it's the biggest library, I guess, of books that have never been published. It brings new meaning to keeping shit in your basement. Oh, come on, that was harsh. No, I really wanted to go see it, to be serious. I really wanted to go see all of the manuscripts in the basement, but I'll have to do that next time around because the museum is closed now. So instead, we're gonna make this a question episode. Whoa. So, sort of a last minute thing, I put on Facebook and Instagram a question, you know, to help me out with these questions, and some of you did. Let's just get into the questions, I guess. Brenna asks on Facebook, how far do you normally travel for shows? Do you research ahead of time or just ask locals what's around? I do lots of research, but I also ask locals when I'm on the road too. Recently I've been doing more research about where to play than actually writing songs, which is kind of sad, but it's what you gotta do. It's what I gotta do at this point. If you go back to the Bend episode from the Solstice tour series of Expressway Balladeer, you'll see that one part where I have the press kit and I'm explaining it. That's the sort of stuff that I pass around at the venues where I want to play. But other than that, I just email places, call places, do whatever I can in order to get a show someplace. So lots of both researching and asking locals. Thanks, Brenna, for asking that question. Laura Joy on Instagram asks, strangest place or town you've pulled off to get gas? You know what I'm talking about, right? The unsettling ones in the middle of nowhere. Yes, Laura, I know what you're talking about. I stop at truck stops a lot to get gas, and I often spend nights at truck stops too, since they don't really care if you just spend all night there. And people sleep in their cars all the time in truck stops, just like the truck drivers sleep in their trucks. Back in the fall, when I was in Nevada, I stopped at a truck stop to get gas. It was so barren. It looked like Mars. It was really creepy. I was sleeping there in the back of the truck, probably at like 1 or 2 in the morning. The guy next to me was just blasting a Christian fiction audiobook. It was nuts. I'd never heard something so strange in my life. I can't even remember what it was about, but it was like angels were coming out of the clouds, and he was blasting it. His van was completely closed up, but I understood every single word. There was also this place just outside of Portland, just a few days ago, before I met John for that episode, and I got gas, and truck stops have showers too, if you guys aren't familiar with what truck stops are equipped with. So I walked in and I was standing in line to get this shower, and this guy was in front of me, and he said, "What are you getting?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna buy a shower." And he said, "Oh, do you want to shower together?" And I thought he was busting my balls. So I busted his balls right back. I said, "Oh, yeah, right. I'll wash your back and you wash mine, right?" And he just stood there looking at me. And I was like, "Oh, you're serious?" It turned out he didn't really know very much English. So after I figured out that he didn't know the difference between K-N-O-W no and N-O no, I realized that he wanted to share the cost of a shower, but that was too late. I was already in the shower by the time I realized that. Thanks, Laura. If you guys don't know who Laura Joy is, check her out. She's an awesome musician based in Chicago. She's on tour right now too, so check out her schedule if she's coming near you. I definitely recommend that you go see a show. Then my mom asks, describe the most interesting character you have met while touring. Has that character inspired an idea for a song? Of course, the New Hope debacle back in 2009 with the Jack Swift days, that one is already a song. On the first home tapes, The Phantom Forsake, it's called If You're Looking for New Hope. So that's already a song, but there have been a lot of other situations. There was this one time in Pendleton when I was stopped because the truck's thermostat had gone. So I was getting that replaced and I was waiting. And this guy walked in. He had his dad's old truck and the gears were all messed in it to work in the field rather than be on the highway. So they were all low gears, and every time apparently he went on the highway, he would be, cruising with 6,500 RPMs. So he went into the shop to ask if they could, switch out the transmission. And the guy's like, "Well, I can't do that because it would just cost way more than it's worth." This kid wanted to go east, like he wanted to go to the East Coast, and Pendleton is in Oregon. So that made me think of, how bad does somebody want to go east, and would they be willing to go like 20 miles an hour to get there? That was a sort of an interesting idea for a song. Maybe it will be someday. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff comes at me every day on the road that will probably be songs someday once I have time to write them and not continue to book shows. Thank you guys for your questions. It really makes the episode. I'm also going to have a question for all of you guys out there, and it's going to be the question of the day. Why not try question of the day, right? Since everyone was asking me about the strangest places I've been or the strangest people, what is the strangest situation that you found yourself in? Put it in the comments below, whether this is on Facebook or YouTube, and let's get a good conversation going. I want to hear your stories because I know you guys got some strange stories out there, and there isn't anything better than a good strange story.
I'm familiar with your kind, my friend, and it's unlikely you'll have a respectable end beneath. Well, I'm a businessman, and I know life like the cigar in my hand. Too many people don't know if you cut it too high, it will unravel and leave you dry. I keep one for my Romeo and Julietas, the other for your fingers. You say you want more money for a trip to Vegas. I have no confidence you'll come back to see us. No. Man, I thought you were smarter than this. My only interests are cigars and interest. You're good for it is all you say, but you ain't won nothing since that horse lucky day. And so you see my dilemma now and the need for collateral before you leave town. I keep one for my Romeo and Julietas, the other for your fingers. You say I want more money for a trip to Vegas. I have no confidence that you'll come back or see us. No. I'm beginning to get impatient here as you compromise my wills. Since you don't use those fingers for counting cash, I guess I will just tell myself, oh my. My living come from gambling on the gamblers. I like to keep those who keep a good hand up, but you come a bad hand, so I'll give you a bad hand instead of folding you and making you a dead man. If you're still looking to leave it with green, you better be willing to part with your pinkies. Yeah, while I wait for you to make some digits, you'll have to leave some digits here with me. I keep one for my Romeo and Julietas, the other for your fingers. You say I want more money for a trip to Vegas, and I will make sure that you come back to see us. Yeah. Thank you. The song was called One for My Romeo y Julietas.